arrived at our fourth day. Thank you for watching the last three challenges, and this is my fourth challenge today, and it revolves around, I suppose, the character in the Bible that everybody knows most about, which is Jesus. And it's an interesting story because Jesus gets tired like everybody else. You have to remember, Jesus came as the perfect man, but he still was man, and he got tired like we all get tired. And he'd been preaching and talking to people, and he needed to escape. So there was a lake nearby. He gets put on a boat and with his disciples goes out into the middle of the river, and just crashes out, just goes to sleep. And as he goes to sleep, the wind starts to pick up. And when the wind starts to pick up, it creates waves, and the boat they're on is starting to tip from left to right. And I don't know about you, I don't sail in big boats particularly well. I've been in boats on and off all my life. I used to sail a little bit and do bits and pieces, but out at sea, when it's bouncing around a bit and everything, it doesn't make me feel too clever. And the disciples are all standing around him, and he's asleep. Jesus is asleep, and the sky goes from blue to grey to black, and the wind still picks up, and the boat starts getting thrown around, the waves are getting higher, and the disciples start to panic. And they shout, "Oh, we're all going to drown, and we're in trouble now," that kind of situation. And they wake Jesus up, and Jesus says, "What's the problem, guys?" And they, "Help us, Lord, help us, Jesus. We're going to sink, we'll drown." And Jesus stands up in the boat and says, "Be still!" And everything stops. The sky goes from black to grey to blue. The sun's there. The water just levels out. The boat stops. And the disciples go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." So much so that they can't actually bring the words out, I'm very sure. It would freak me out. I'm sure it would freak you out if we had been there or if we saw something to the like nowadays. But my challenge today is now, we could all be in a storm. Everything around us is going wrong. We're just using the latest thing. We're going through a pandemic. Do we send our kids back to school? Have we sent our kids back to school? Well, it's great they're all back in the class and they're hanging out with their mates. And do you know what? That's brilliant. We've got a 5-year-old. He's going back to school. He is so excited about going back to school. He's got his new uniform and all the bits he's going to be doing, and don't realise he's going into year 1. We've also got a 3-year-old who's about to start preschool. She wants to meet new friends and socialise with people. But then we might be sitting there thinking, hang on, they're going to school, and I'm not going to try to frighten people. It's just the way my mind works. I'm sure yours does as well. Well, actually, they're not just the children who are seeing one another in their own particular bubble class. Their teachers, well, they come from possibly relationships, and they've probably got children, and they've got friends, and they've got family, and they might see grandma and granddad or whatever, and they socialise with people. And actually, the teachers have to, and how's that going to work? And it creates that storm within us. It kind of rages, doesn't it? Should I be doing this? Shouldn't I be doing that? Am I making the right decision about sending my own child to school and everything? And then there's other things like, I still haven't gone back to the office, and the government keeps saying, well, you should go back to your office now. But do I want to go back to my office? I'm really quite worried about going back to my office. I'm quite happy now working from home. I'm doing it remotely. I've got my laptop, zippity-doo-dah, happy days. I have my lunch when I want to have it. And then there's other things like, well, I really want a Costa, or I want to run a Starbucks. And there's many other really, really good coffee shops as well. I'm just using them as examples to be very clear. And I want to go out for coffee, and I want to go out for lunch, and but I don't really want to because I'm going to have to mix with the people. And then you go out for the day with the children, and you might be at a disposition where you see the playground is full of adults and kids thinking, I don't want to put my kids in that situation. What is if the pandemic get me? What? And the storm rages within us all and around us and everything. What if I go shopping? What if I don't go shopping? What if we all get back into lockdown again? And it goes on. And what we need to hear is stop. Be still. There's an awesome piece within the Bible that says, be still and know that I am God. You see, I believe that God is with us. I believe that God can quieten the storm. There's a phrase I've always said for many years, which is, God will always bring his people back to safe harbour. And yet, it's a lot of dreadful stuff going on. And yes, I'm not going to deny with you that people have died. My best friend has died. I knew Gareth for over 30 years. Awesome guy. And he died a few months ago because of COVID-19. So I understand when you say to me, well, what about, this has happened and people are dying and I know you're afraid. And sometimes we pretend we're not afraid about this, but we need to stop. Be still and know that I am God, not me personally, God. And that God has an answer to this. And God has a way through all of this. And I'm not saying it's all going to change tomorrow. I'm not saying it's all going to change next week or by Christmas. But I'm saying stop. Stop and just think for a few minutes. Yeah, we're in a storm. But Christ is with us. God will not sell you short. You might think he has. You might think he hasn't. You might not be thinking anything. You might be thinking, well, how come, God hasn't stopped all this? Well, basically it's because it's what I call the fall of man. From the very outset, we have a choice in things. We have a choice the way we are, how we live. God didn't create pandemics or illness, Sin did. It's a 3-letter word. It's an old-fashioned word. It's the word we don't like to hear. It's the word we laugh at when we say, oh, it's sinful. We make songs about sin. But the fall of the world has created this, not God. I'm not here to defend God. I think God's big enough to defend himself, to be truthful. But what I'm challenging people today is to say, look, just stop and think for a minute. Just stop. Are you worried? Are you concerned? Are you scared? You're not by yourself. Other than there are thousands of people across this planet who are in the same position as ourselves right now, and many other kind of situations, war zones, famine, natural disasters. God is still in the midst of it all. And he cares about you. You. Just you and me. If you're watching this right now, God cares about you. And you have a choice. I've talked about choice and challenges for the last few days. You have a choice. You can either deny everything you're hearing and still keep saying, well, what if and why if and what and da, da, or you can make a choice. You can receive a challenge right now and say, maybe I need to look in a bit more about this God. Maybe I need to understand a little bit more about Jesus before I make any knee-jerk reaction about how I feel about things or what I really do believe. Can God help me? I believe he can. Will God be with me? I believe he is. Will the church help me? Absolutely right, we will. Will the church stand with me? Totally we will. You don't need to be by yourself. I know you've got structurally family around you and you've got friends around you, or maybe you haven't. But either way, we're here and we care and we are now. So think about it. Are you in the storm? Would you like it just to stop? Would you like to know that you're going to be safe? Not just in the pandemic, throughout your lifetime. Just switch on the news tonight. Just switch on your news and look about, various things going on in the world. The war, the children being killed because of stupidity of war, the famine it causes, widowers, widows, illnesses, the way people treat one another, murder, serious crime, theft, lies, all of that stuff. I believe that God can calm the storm within you. If you want to know more, check out our Facebook page, Fordham Congregational Church, and our services at 10:30 on a Sunday morning. But also, we're open throughout the week. It's not just Sundays. And the challenges continue in our lives, but we're here to help with those challenges, and we go through challenges too. This is what this mission's been all about. You know, it's not just one big holiday camp, hidey hi, hody ho, and you know, it's just so easy. There's that point where the rubber has to hit the road, and my message is very clear. We're here, and we are available, and more importantly, God is here, and He cares about you. Thank you for your time.